today on Big House Sport, we are going to be going through all 15 Super Rugby teams for the 2020 season. We're going to be kind of going over the key points, positives and negatives of how we think they're going to be going this season. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put them into their standings in the conference, and then at the end, we're going to go through and discuss who I believe will actually take out the Super Rugby crown for 2020. Might be a little bit of a shock to you, obviously. The Crusaders have gone 3 in a row, but here is a little bit of an insight into this video. I do not have the Crusaders taking it out this year for a 4th time in a row. No, that's just insane. That's just absolutely insane if they do that. It is entirely possible. Can't see it happening though. I think this team has really improved a lot in the off-season, and it's going to be very, very interesting for the team that I have winning it. Also, I want to see what your thoughts are on this season. Who do you think is going to win the Australian Conference, the New Zealand Conference, the South Africa Conference? Who do you think is going to take it all out? Go in the comment section below. Let us know your thoughts. Let us know who you think are going to be top dogs and who you think are going to be the biggest improvers. And also, let us know your teams. We know you're not being a little bit biased there, so I'm sure. But anyway, enough of that. Let's get straight into the video and let's discuss all 15 Super Rugby teams for 2020. First up, we have the Melbourne Rebels. Now, look, I actually believe this team is a perennial underachiever. I believe that they've usually got a team that can challenge, not necessarily win it, but do a lot better than they do. And it usually comes down to the fact that they start off red hot. Like, they start the season banging, clanging, taking down bloody numbers. But the thing is with the Melbourne Rebels is that when it comes to the end of the season, they do kind of fall apart. And we saw that last year when they were so close to making the finals, and unfortunately they got beaten 66-0 by, I think, the Crusaders, and like 56 points to the bloody Chiefs. That's just out of control. That's just absolutely out of control, and that's not on. The big thing this year for the Melbourne Rebels that I find is the replacement of Will Genia for Frankie Lamani. Frankie Lamani has signed with the Rebels, and I genuinely believe he's a really elusive player. I really believe he's a player that can change the dynamic of this team. I think it was the game against Georgia for the World Cup for Fiji when Frankie Lamani and Zeper absolutely tore it up, and you saw that the type of player that Frankie Lamani can be. And that does work well because this team does know how to score points. They are a solid attacking team. It's just that defense that I was talking about before. They can let in 60 points, they can let in 56, 59 points. That does come down to the fact that their forwards aren't exactly the best forwards in the game. But we'll see how they go this season. I don't believe they're going to come last by any means. I don't believe they're going to come first by any means, but I do think that they're on the right track upwards, and I just think if they can keep that momentum going from the start of the season red hot form, they are going to be some trouble in the finals. But I'm going to be giving them 3rd place. I'm going to give 3rd place in the Australian Conference. It just comes down to whether they can keep that form up from the early season that we all know they're going to have, but can they keep it going towards the end when it's needed the most? Next up, we have the massive exodus of the Highlanders. So many players have left this team high and dry, and they're going to really probably struggle this season, in my opinion. Ben Smith, Jackson Hamopo, Liam Squire, Waisaki Nahwao, Waisaki. I just think that all those players are really key. They're really, really key, and I feel like Naholo is going to be a really big loss in that back line as well. I think that this team is about to go through a rebuilding stage, and a severe rebuilding stage at that. Who do they really have that will compete on a serious level with some of these other teams in the competition right now? However, I will say this, the Highlanders are well known for, despite player adjustments and players leaving, players going, blah, 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 they always find a way to stick in it. They always find a way to maintain composure. They are a very composed team throughout the difficult times, throughout adversity. I'm, however, going to go out and say they're going to come 4th. I think that 4th in the New Zealand Conference is a very strong conference. We all know New Zealand always puts out the best of the Super Rugby because New Zealand, they love their rugby, so they put all their effort into rugby union. This is their time for rebuilding. This is their time to reinvest in their team and start coming through the young blood. It's a difficult one. They probably will maintain composure enough to not come 5th, but I don't see them making the playoffs by any means. Okay, let's move on to South Africa with the Stormers. I think this team is, it just comes down to if they can, take some points from the opposition team away from home. They can take the points away from the opposition at their home. They're fantastic at home, and it is a positive that they have 7 from 10 games to start at home. So we probably will see them get off to a fast start, which is something we don't usually see them do. Usually they kind of, peak towards the end of the season, like the mid to late range of the season, and they are a very, very good team in the DHL. But they're not the best attacking team. They really aren't. Last year, they were the joint worst try scoring in their conference. They only scored 34 tries in the entirety of last year. Now that's not great, guys. That's not great. And to add on to that, they only got one bonus point. Just the one bonus point from 16 games. Not by any means am I saying this is a rebuilding stage. I just don't think they have the quality to compete this year. I wouldn't call it rebuilding. I just think that with this new coach, there's going to be a lot of adjustments, and I'm going to give them fourth in the South African Conference. I think that they're not bad. They're not that bad. They aren't terrible by any means, but I just can't see them competing with the top dogs of the South African Conference. Ooh, ACT Brumbies, baby. ACT Brumbies. I'm excited by this team. I really am excited by this team. Australian Conference, they are big dogs in this conference this season. They were big dogs last season as well. Unfortunately, they just came up just short against the Jaguares when they could not convert a single line out in that bloody final. Anyway, I'm not going to get into that. The only thing I worry about this year with the Brumbies, and there's really only one thing I worry about, is the fact that they don't really have the star fly halves that you need to compete. They don't have the consistent fly halves that have been built over years to really direct this team around. Wenzel, Lalesio, Pastoa are just, it really is about integrating them. It really is about whoever they choose is going to be the key factor here. Unfortunately for the Brumbies, they just don't know how to get off to a fast start. They're very slow starters, but they really pump home strong. They pump home strong. And that's what I'm really excited about, because I feel like their opening start of the season is definitely winnable, and I genuinely believe that the Brumbies will go strong to start the season. If they can keep that up and do what they usually do and finish strong, they could really be a force this season. They could really be a force this season. And then obviously you've got Kurudrani and Solomon Kata. I love my rugby league, and obviously I know about Solomon Kata and the ability he possesses when he was at the Warriors, and I know that he's going to really be able to translate that into a more, physically brutal game that is rugby union. Only thing that I worry about, like I said, is the playmakers. The playmakers are really going to be the telling point for the Brumbies. We all know that that's pretty obvious, really, just with every team. But I'm going out on a limb here, and I'm saying number one in the Australian Conference. I genuinely think they're going to top it. I believe in this team. I believe that the Brumbies have what it takes this year. This is what I want to talk about. This is the one I want to talk about. The good old Chiefs. Good old Chiefs. They've been struggling of late. They've been struggling the last couple of years. They've been real massive underdogs, and deservedly so. But my oh my, they have improved their team, and my oh my, this is a scary season for anyone in the New Zealand Conference going up against the Chiefs. Big old Damon McKenzie. Leonard Brown, Weber, Cruden, my gosh, this back line is just next level. It is just next level, and you can't deny that this back line is terrifying. It really is. The forwards complement this back line nicely, and Warren Gatlin as the new coach is just like, this team is just so well-rounded. It's so well-rounded, and it does seem like this could genuinely be their year. I do think this is going to be the most dominant team in Super Rugby this year. Whether they can put it together in the finals, I don't know, but I genuinely feel like this team definitely has what it takes to take it all out, and I'm going with the number one position here in the New Zealand Conference. I'm putting the Chiefs up there. I know I've just knocked the Crusaders off. Woo, that's a big call, boys. That's a big call, boys. Oh, this one's a bit of a harsh one. This one's a bit of a hard reality check here. The good old Lions. Unfortunately for the Lions, they just aren't who they used to be. They aren't what they used to be a couple of years ago. They've really gone backwards. They obviously only had 3 World Cup players last year. Only 3 of their players got selected for the World Cup, and 2 of them are gone. Malcolm Marks, Quagga Smith, see you later. Like, that's rough. That is rough. I just think this team's going more backwards than forwards at this point. They're just not doing anything that really excites me. And to be honest, I hate to say this, and I find them quite boring at the moment. I can't see where the energy is going to come from. You know, Duplessis will be handy. He will. He might hold the fort so that it doesn't completely evaporate, but there's not much really to get me going in the Lions this year, and unfortunately, I do have to give them 5th in the South African Conference, which is just a crazy freefall considering where they've been in the last 5 years. The Sunwolves. Sayonara Sunwolves. Unfortunately, this is their last year in the competition, and it will be sad to say goodbye, but look, let's be honest, they never really competed too much in this competition. I do believe especially after this Japanese Rugby World Cup, there was a lot of momentum behind Japanese rugby, and it was looking quite quality. However, I I think it was possibly, I think it was the right move. They are an exciting team to watch. They really are. They know how to score points. They are a really offensive team. They don't give a shit, trust me though, and I say they don't give a shit about defense. I don't see the commitment this year. I can't see any of the players really being committed to the cause, considering they know this is the final year of the franchise and everyone's going to be going their separate ways. They would need an absolutely monumental season, like a monumental season to achieve anything besides 5th place. It's going to be a dire season for Sunwolves, but at least we can enjoy the fact that they're going to be going out and they've got nothing to lose. Woohoo, the Blues. They are an intriguing team this year. They've got a lot of potential. They've got a lot of potential in their team. They've got Bowden Barrett, oh my gosh. You've got Rieko Ioane, Carlton Nkwafe. Like, it is a team with a lot of potential. I really hope I said that name right. I really hope I said that name right. Those players really are going to be pivotal to success. It's as honest as that, as straight up as that. They are going to be really pivotal, considering that Sonny Bill is obviously gone and Martin Nunu is gone as well. So these guys are really going to have to step it up, and especially considering the fact that in New Zealand last year they only won 2 out of 8 games. Not great. They are not well known for beating New Zealand Conference teams. I just feel like this team has a positive outlook finally, and I'm going to give them second in the New Zealand Conference. Oh my God, Blaze, where's the Crusaders? Oh no, where's the Crusaders? Where's the Crusaders, Blaze? You're a lunatic. You're a lunatic, son. I am a lunatic, yeah. I know. A lot of improved team for the Blues this year, and I just think they're going to be able to get it over the line and get into that top 2 position. Like I said, this New Zealand Conference is just bang on right now. Bang on right now. I'm saying Chiefs first, I'm saying the Blues second. Oh my goodness me. We are back in South Africa with the Bulls. I think they had a quality 2019 season. I do. I think they had a quality 2019 season. Although they didn't top the group because of the rampaging Jaguares, I genuinely think they had a quality season in the South African Conference, and also they only just got pipped by the Hurricanes, who were a phenomenal team last year in the finals. The fact of the matter is that they did have a quality season. I don't know if they can translate it as much into this year, but I still think they're going to be just around the point. Let's be honest, they were bashed senseless. They've been absolutely bashed senseless by the departures of the World Cup. They've been knocked out, they've been bashed, they've been bruised, they've been stabbed, they've been slapped, they've been backhanded, and the backhand is a serious one by this World Cup departures. Hopefully Mornay Stein can kind of calm the storm. Jaeger, Vermeulen, Pollard, Snyman, Creel have left, and that is some big name players. They do have a difficult start to the season, playing the Sharks and Stormers away in their first 2 games, which is obviously South African Conference rivals, and their forward pack is lacking in that sheer brutality that we know the Bulls usually have. I think they're going to be 3rd this year. I think they're going to come 3rd in the South African Conference. I can't see them toppling the 2 at the top of the South African Conference, and I can't see them being bad enough to finish bottom 2. I just think those World Cup departures really have affected this team ginormously. Waratahs! Finally no Israel Folau drama. Whoa, that must be happy news. That must be really happy news for the Waratahs. With Israel Folau gone, for now, there is no off-field drama. The only on-field drama that I can really see is the number 10 role, which obviously Bernard Foley's gone, so who's going to take over Bernard Foley? Is it going to be Curtly Beale? I don't know. I really don't know. I reckon it'll probably be Curtly Beale. The offensive line for the Waratahs does look quite quality, and with a new coach in Rob Penny, it really will come down to whether he can calm the storm around a team that is really heavily criticised and watched in the media. The Waratahs are a big franchise in the Super Rugby world. So it really comes down to whether the new coach can, calm the storm and get the players to remain focused despite all the fact of the adversity that will inevitably come from the media. It always happens. It does. By no means are they in a rebuilding stage, but they're also not set across the park either. They've got little holes in specific positions that will prove a little bit of a struggle for the Waratahs this season. I don't think they're in a rebuilding stage. I do think they have enough quality in the team to maintain a somewhat push, but I can't see them getting better than 3rd, to be honest. I cannot see them getting better than 3rd in the Australian Conference. Second, I can interchange 2nd and 3rd. I can interchange 2nd and 3rd. I think I said that before, but I can interchange 2nd and 3rd somewhat. I still am going to go with the Waratahs in 3rd place though. I think it'll be a little bit of a realisation year for the Waratahs. The one you've all been waiting for, the Crusaders. Can they go 4 in a row? Obviously, from what you've seen in the video so far, I don't believe so. Obviously, the 1st and 2nd place in the New Zealand Conference has been accounted for, in my opinion. So, Yeah, they are an absolutely killer team at set piece. They will absolutely destroy you, but they do lose the playmaking ability of Kieran Reid, Sam Whitelock, and Ryan Crotty as well. It's going to be difficult to adjust to, find the players that are going to make up for the loss of such three influential figures of the team. I feel like the forward line's a little bit lacking this year, so I'm going to have to go with Rishi Mwanga to really pick up the slack of that and really encourage this back line to, help the forwards out quite ginormously. I feel like the back line's going to really have to take a step up to pick up that little bit of slack that I feel could come from the forward line. I don't by any means think this team's going to be bad. By absolutely no means. I don't think they're falling apart. However, I just think the Chiefs and the Blues have what it takes to really take that next step this year, especially the Chiefs. I can swap the Blues and the Crusaders around, maybe. We'll see how we go. I can't see anyone else going above them, but the Crusaders, I'm going to be giving them in third spot. I'm going to give them in third spot. It is just too much change in a winning formula, and I know that's not really their choice, but it just is simply too much change in a winning formula. Next up, we have the Sharks in South Africa, and what I'm looking forward to this team is the backline. Their backline does look impressive. It does look fast. It does look elusive, and I'm really looking forward to seeing Makazole Mapimpi. He had a fantastic World Cup for South Africa, and it's going to be really, really interesting to see how the Sharks go with this backline. However, their forwards, they're lacking. Their forwards are the ones that are really going to show this team to not be as good as they potentially can be. They are quite well balanced across the park in all key positions. I do think that Robert, Jean-Luc, and Dan Dupreez are going to be massive losses for the team though. So in summary, I think that this is their year that they can kind of challenge. I think it's not a bleak outlook. I'm giving them second, which is strange considering I kind of am talking a little bit negatively about this team, but I do think that the South African Conference is significantly weaker this year, but it's not a bleak outlook by any means, and I've got them a second. Queensland Reds, my team. Slightly optimistic, but I am always disappointed by my team. So, we're probably going to see this prediction be absolutely going up in flames by about round 1 and about the 1 minute mark. I genuinely have positive optimism regarding the Queensland Reds this year, and I think they will be a lot better than they have been. Very young team. They are a very young team, and I feel like they're closer to the end of a rebuilding stage than the beginning of a rebuilding stage. I feel like they're getting a lot closer to it being the end and being challengers. I think that Henry Spate as a signing is a really solid signing to counteract the loss of such a big player in Samu Karev. The thing with the Reds is that they need to improve in their offloads. In 2019, they were the worst team, the last ranked team in offloads. They are quality in their lineouts, but they really struggle with their scrums. So set piece playmaking is a little bit all over the shop at the moment. That is what the main improvement needs to come from this team. And there is a lot of hype around this team coming into the 2020 season. So I do think they're going to be better. A little bit of laughter there, a little bit of kind of worriedness. This year they're going to be back on track. The young team's going to start to grow with each other, and it is a positive outlook. I've gone with them with second. Like I said, I can interchange them with third. I think that they're going to get second. I'm going to go with second, but they will be a force this year. They will be a lot more of a force this year, and they're going to bring a lot of energy to the table. They're going to bring a lot of energy. Oh, the Hurricanes. Oh, the Hurricanes. This is a little bit of a depressing one because I actually really like the Hurricanes. I actually really do like the Hurricanes. They've always had a soft spot in my heart. I don't know why. This year I just can't see them doing anything. The loss of Beauden Barrett. Like, do I say more? Do I need to say any more? Or you get it? You get the feel? Look, they've still got quite a decent backline. However, there's just nothing really exciting about their squad, and that's really harsh to say because they have been a very exciting team. They are known as quite an exciting team, but that excitement I felt came from the fact that Beauden Barrett was leading this team around, and with that loss, it's not great. Two players that I feel like are going to have big years is one, Lamape. I just really think that he's going to want to prove the All Blacks wrong, as in the selectors. He obviously did just miss out, and I feel like this is the year that he needs to show that he is quality and he does have the big game mentality. Also, with the loss of Beauden Barrett, I feel like TJ Perenara really has to step up his game and take more of a leadership role in this team and really take over the reins in 2020. I am unfortunately going to be putting them in fifth though. I am, and this one hurts because I don't want to do it, but I have to do it. I have to think with my head here, and Hurricanes, unfortunately, I think they're going to come fifth. I don't think they have the excitement. They do have the back line. They probably can score tries still. They can score enough tries to maintain not an embarrassing season, but I just can't see them doing anywhere near as good as they have been been of late, and it's going to be a real realization period this year with the loss of Beauden Barron, how pivotal and key he was to the team. Finally, we've got the Jaguares! Woohoo! A little bit of Argentinian spice in the mix. They had a fantastic year in 2019. They made the final, and they obviously played the Crusaders. Unfortunately, they did lose that one. To start the season, they have the Lions, the Hurricanes, and the Reds all at home in Argentina, so that is a really solid start. I think that with the fact that most of their players have returned, you know, that consistency remains, and they'll still be pretty much the exact same team as they were last year. However, just the mentality of the Argentine players after that World Cup, they had a very disappointing World Cup, and hopefully they can remove that from their minds and really get back on track with this team. Simply said, De La Fuente is absolutely pivotal to how this team goes in 2020. Their defense is on another level. I think they only conceded the second least amount of tries scored last season, just behind the Crusaders, so their defense is top notch. Along with that, their attack is actually quite quality as well. So in saying all this, I think it's pretty obvious to say number one in the South African Conference. I think they are the out and out leader. They are the most dominant by far in the South African Conference, and I can't see them giving up the top position to anybody right now. And to finish this up, who do I think is going to win the 2020 Super Rugby season? I'm going out and I'm going to say the Chiefs. I think that they've got a quality team. I think they are very consistent. I think that their signings are really going to make an impact on this team, on this league, and definitely in this conference. I do think that the New Zealand Conference is very difficult to predict because there are three teams that I think can genuinely challenge this year. There are a few teams that can take it this year, but I am going with the Chiefs, and I'm confident in saying the Chiefs too. I am confident. But anyway, guys, thanks for us for today's video. If you did like it, please give me a thumbs up so that I know you're enjoying this content, son. We're going to be smashing out Super Rugby this season. Very excited. Obviously, we're based in Sydney, so a lot of Waratahs games, there's Brumbies games, but there are a few other games like Queensland Reds we're going to go to. Hopefully, we can get to New Zealand at some stage. Not too sure about that. Not going to confirm anything, but I'm telling you right now, if you haven't subscribed yet, you love your Super Rugby, or you just love your sport in general, definitely go and hit that subscribe button right now. Good luck to everyone in the Super Rugby. Obviously, it starts tomorrow, actually. It starts tomorrow night in New Zealand, so good luck to everyone in the Super Rugby. It's going to be a very interesting season. I'm very pumped up. Hopefully, we can do some live streams as well, which will be fantastic. I know you guys love the live streams that I put on this channel, but that is going to do us for today, guys. Thanks for watching. Catch you later.